Hi guys, my name is Moran. Welcome to my channel and to another episode of Getting Personal, where I gather different stories from Reddit. And today we've got the ones that make you want to ask, are you for real? Are you joking? Because that's the only common denominator these ones have. So let's kick this off with a bang. And this is one of the scariest stories I've read in a very long time. Today I've up by painting my inner walls with glitter. This is some body horror at its best. Today I fucked up by turning my insides into a psychedelic art exhibit with purple and white star/hexagon glitter. This all started a couple of weeks ago, but I just bought my first dildo. I wanted to spice up my toy collection. This is key to how I set up my own accidental womb sorority party. A week after buying the dildo, I was out at the store buying me and my roommates some groceries, and at the front counter I noticed from the corner of my eye this water stress ball. It was soft and layered with these plastic bumps. Without a second thought, my horny ass bought it to take it home and cut it open. You are a pretty creative person, because in no universe my mind would go there. I didn't even take the time to scrap off the glitter on the inside before I tied the new bumpy homemade condom to the dildo. Girl, you could have just bought regular bumpy condoms, but I feel like for a lot of people the discovery is part of the fun, the experimentation. I really hope you washed it beforehand, because if not, I'm gonna perish from disgust. I thought I had my genius Einstein moment there, that I just made this sex toy experience 100% better. Plot twist, it didn't do anything and I just ruined a perfectly good stress ball for no reason. But the happens later. You see, I didn't even bother cleaning off the toy. My logic was that all the messy stuff was over my up stress ball condom machine, so instead of cleaning my toy, I just untied and threw away the remains of the stress ball. This happened in the dark, leaving me oblivious to the horror created over my dildo. The next night, I'm in the dark, and I'm guessing this is when the horror entered my body. I used it again. Only after using it and going to the bathroom to wash the toy did I notice the sparkles. There were very few, and I assumed there were very few from the start, so I just forgot about it until today. This actually reads like a very good, well-written story, because she leads up to it really well, builds some tension, and I am terrified. I started my period, and to my shock and disgust, waking up to ruined bloody underwear was enough, but everything, and I mean everything, was covered with glitter. It was all over the place. I've got a pretty heavy flow, and it was like I opened up one of those prank birthday cards like, hooray, you're on your period. And now I fear for my life. I feel like a human piñata, but instead of candy, I'm spewing out glitter every time I go to the bathroom. I would literally be in the ER 5 minutes after I saw that, because this is so scary. Imagine glitter coming out of your vagina. Don't really want to anyway, because this is too... I'm surprised the stress ball massacre wasn't leaving my body any earlier. Microplastics or something, but these glitter pieces are tiny, and it's not like I can just go in there and scoop it all out with a Q-tip. I'm pretty sure my insides are going to be the mini version of the aftermath of a pride parade for another couple of months. So yes, today or a few weeks ago, You're a pretty good writer, I have to say. Like, a lot of very nice analogies and comparisons. I love it. Takes a little bit away from the true horror that is happening in here, and I'm glad for it, because, the humor lightens it up. Edit. Yes, I have scheduled an appointment with a gynecologist. I'm pretty sure we can't do anything unless they have this medical procedure of shoving a hose down there and spraying it all out. I can't imagine that's pleasant. That's probably very, very painful. I'm 75% sure my body will do its magic, literally, and self-cleanse. I would not be so sure. I'll update you with the Gina's reaction next week. And we, thankfully, have an update, because I really had to know what's going on. Anyway, the update is called Yeast Invasion, which is already not a very good sign. Somebody put me down. 3 days ago, I made it known to the world about my fabulous vagina, decorated decorated with glitter accidentally and how my period came out like one of those bougie drinks. At first, I didn't think much of it. It'll just pass, I so foolishly thought. Well, no. I feel just as stupid as I felt a few days ago, thinking that the glitter won't cause any other damage than just making my pads look like a preschool art project. But no. Yeast infection, irritation. It's not like being on my period was bad enough, but now it feels like I have a tree branch on fire up in there as well. This description is so vivid and I kinda almost felt it. You know, it's like when guys say that they see someone in the movies getting kicked in the balls and they cringe because they immediately almost feel it. This is what I experienced just now with the vagina thing. Horrifying. I'm sure most of the Croft herpes have left me, but their presence was not taken lightly by my body. I just want to go back in time and sit my past self down to have a long talk about sex education and how to take care of my toy, or maybe just slap her across her stupid, horny face. It just hurts. I know I'm smiling and stuff because this is theoretically funny, but overall, I'm very sorry for the OP and what they're going through because it does sound like a weekend in hell. Like, I want to cry kind of hurt, and I don't think I will be able to wait for the gynecologist appointment next week. Trust me, I tried going to a walk-in, but they swore up and down there was nothing they could do about it. I hate the healthcare system. I assume you're American. This whole example of your healthcare system is horrifying. I might be wrong, but it does sound like an American system to me with the whole walk-ins and nothing they can do. I mean, in all of the countries I've lived in, this certainly qualifies as an emergency and you definitely could get help for this. Once again, it just seems to be getting worse and worse. Wow, this is very, very sad. Okay, now I'm just upset because there aren't any further updates, but I really do hope this person is doing okay. And the last thing I want to do with this story is I just randomly saw one of OP's comments. Oh, and to whoever gave me that confetti award, you are a cruel but upsettingly funny person. This story is so hard to deal with because it's one of those Reddit gems that are absolutely hilarious, but only as long as you don't imagine it actually happening in real life, because, you know, when you read it, you can kind of detach from it. But then again, as soon as you remember that it happened to a real person, you kind of start feeling bad. And I do feel bad for the OP. Hope she's okay now. And let's move on to the next story. This one is just plain hilarious. Today I up by convincing my boyfriend that girls have to shed their skin once a month. This started as a complete joke about a year ago. I was taking off the remnants of a peel-off mask. I put a little bit on my shoulders because I got a couple of blackheads on there and I wanted to see if it could take care of it. For any of the girlies wondering, no, it didn't really work at all. Figures. Well, my boyfriend walked in and asked me what I was doing, and for some reason I joked and said, "Oh, I'm shedding my skin since I just finished my period." I already love you for the sense of humor. He was really confused but believed me immediately and started asking a ton of questions. He either really trusted her or he thinks we're some sort of demonic snakes. I decided it would be funny to stick with the joke and answer all the questions. Here's how it went. So why do you have to do that? Well, you know how girls shed the lining of their uterus during their periods. It's kind of the same thing, but since skin doesn't contract, we have to peel it off. Does it hurt? Only a little bit, but it's such a relief when it's off. Do all the girls have this? Yes, but we're all kind of ashamed of it because a lot of guys shame us for it, so don't ask girls around you about it. She went all in with the lie. She even covered her bases in case he decides to ask around. My poor gullible baby boy. Well, once he mentioned it around one of my best girlfriends, I gave her a look from across the room and she went with it. And then he mentioned it it in front of his sister. I gave her a look, she went with it, and then told their mom to go along with it later if he ever asked. That is hilarious, but very mean. This spread around quickly. His aunt, my mother, my sisters, my female cousins, his female cousins, his grandmother, all of my female friends, all of his sister's female friends, everyone. Wow, you got quite a talent for convincing people, and also that's a lot of people to get on your side. While all of this happened, his male friends found out about it. It's like finding out about the Illuminati or something like that. You know, they just randomly find out the secret truth about women. They have more in common with snakes than we expected. One of them asked their moms, and she laughed at him and didn't say anything, so he believes it. Mom also went with it. I love this female community where we just randomly go along with messing with men. If one of my girlfriends tried to get me on board with that, I would also be like, yeah, sure, let's tell everybody we shed our skin and dupe all of the men we know into thinking that. The others still believe it without question. This had spread like wildfire that I could not control. At this point, I had completely forgotten about the joke, but earlier today, I was sitting at the dinner table with him and his family just chatting, and I was scratching my shoulder because I got a really bad sunburn and it was just starting to peel. He asked me if my sunburn was bothering me and if I wanted some aloe vera, so I said yes. He said to me in front of the entire table, "It must suck that your sunburn is peeling and you have to peel this time of the month again." This is the best practical joke ever. It took everything in me to not burst out laughing, but it took absolutely nothing for his mother to snort water out of her nose and proceed to cry laugh at the dinner table. His sister buried her face in her hands and laughed so hard that her face turned bright red and she snorted over and over again. Much to my surprise, I did not laugh, but I felt myself convulse and my face got so hot. He was really confused, but his dad was even more confused. He asked him what he was talking about, and my poor boyfriend, who was so confused as to why his sister and mom were laughing, said, "Well, you know, when the girls have that time, they have to peel, right, OP?" Oh, poor baby. I feel so sorry for him. And his dad just looked at all three of us dumbfounded and said, "What the hell have you been telling this boy?" And we all lost it. I started laughing so hard that I thought I was going to throw up. I was crying. I was in pain. I probably burst a couple blood vessels from laughing so hard. I finally fessed up because I couldn't explain my maniacal laughter anymore. He looked at me like I just shot his dog. Oh no. I told him I was so sorry and explained the origin of this running joke. He sat back down at the table, absolutely dumbfounded. After dinner, we went back to his room and he asked me, "Everyone has been lying to me about this and you started it." This reads like some drama where the character finds out that he has a secret evil twin or something and everybody was lying to them about it. I felt so bad and I was apologizing profusely. He was silent for about a minute before he started laughing harder than I have ever heard him laugh before. He had tears rolling down his cheeks. His face was bright red and he kept grabbing his stomach and heaving from how hard he was laughing. He told me between heaves that he couldn't believe that I had gotten every single woman in his life to convince him this complete bullshit was real and that he wouldn't believe periods were real at this point if he hadn't witnessed me curled up in the bathroom sobbing from cramps. We both laughed for a solid 30 minutes together. He jokingly chastised me for making him look like an idiot, and then we snuggled up and watched the movie together until I had to head on home. So maybe not a detrimental up, but definitely one that he will remember for the rest of his life. I'm a terrible liar, but I'm proud of myself for keeping this ridiculous one up for so long, and I'm kind of sad to see it end. Well, this was a brilliant lie, even though once again can be seen as very cruel, but all is well that ends well, and this one sort of kind of ended up just being a funny joke. No harm done, which is nice. And there is also a PS. We agreed not to tell his friends and to let them keep believing it. We'll see how long that lasts. This is a start of a conspiracy theory. There are gonna be people 50 years down the line who are like firmly believing that women shed their skin every month and they will refuse to believe otherwise, even when faced with proof or lack thereof. Well done. The next story I've got for you is today I f***ed up by screwing a dildo to a chair. I'm a stupid asshat. I'm 19, female, and I like sex. I like having sex and I like getting railed. My boyfriend is long distance and we make do, but today I was horny as and couldn't get a hold of him. Fortunately for me, I had a cheap dildo from Spencer's and I really felt like riding it. Unfortunately for me, the suction cup on that bitch is dog absolute trash. Spencer's, you make horrible suction cups. Nicely thrown in product review. Well, I'm a smart so I thought. So I took the dildo and some screws and screwed that to a shitty computer chair I had in my apartment. I see you're pretty good with your hands. It was successful, I'll admit, and I went to town on that thing. I was slipping and sliding and having a grand old time. I was so eager to get off I didn't even take off my shorts. Suddenly, I hear my front door open and my sister, who's 14, call out for me. I tried to tell her not to come in, but there was nowhere to hide in my studio apartment. Suddenly, not only my sister comes in, but she also brought our 8-year-old baby sister. Oh my god. This is trauma for life. Here I am, sat on a chair with a 6-inch Spencer's dildo in my cooter, sweaty, with my sisters staring at me. I don't know how I managed to convince them I wasn't doing anything, but I lied and said I had just got out of the shower. I had completely forgotten I had not only given her a key to hang out when she doesn't want to be at my dad's place, but I told them that they could spend the night the day before. So got to spend an hour stuck to a computer chair pretending to write emails for work, sweating bullets while these two fucks were bugging me to play Mario Kart. This is priceless. But as much as you suffered, at least they don't know anything. So I suppose that's great. I managed to convince them to go to the corner store across the street since it was still light out, and now I have to throw out my only chair to prevent my stupid ass from doing it again. But why throw out the chair? Just hide it somewhere and go to town on it when you're sure that your sister or sisters won't come in. I love how she summarized the story. My horny ass the chair and the chair me back. Oh girl, you are hilarious. Anyway, I hope you'll find safer ways to entertain yourself and not get caught by your sisters, but that must have been mortifying, and this is again one of those times where I'm glad that I don't have any sisters or brothers. So the next story on the list is today I f***ed up by being too impulsive. It just happened. I think I just seriously compromised the relationship between me and my aunt, my mom's sister. Let me explain. My aunt, who already has 3 children from different fathers, just posted on Facebook that she's pregnant with twins. I'm usually a thoughtful person, but this time I couldn't resist and commented, "Congratulations, finally 2 children from the same father." That is vicious. When I regretted it and was about to delete the message, she had already blocked me. I don't think there is a solution to this situation, but if there is any development, I'll update. Well, if you want to fix the situation, you will definitely have to apologize, but you know, things like these will never ever leave your memory, so your aunt will probably forever know what you genuinely think, and this will f up your relationship forever and ever. I feel like there is no going about it. I'm pretty sure at least once in our lives, everyone up like this with their relatives. That's what they're for, am I right? As long as she's not vindictive or anything. Oh, this one is just priceless. Today I f***ed up by admitting to my investigator that I masturbated at work. I'm currently in the process of joining the police academy, and I was doing a background interview with a detective where she would ask about drug use and other misdemeanors. I wanted to do the right thing, and I told her I had masturbated at work more than once and less than a year ago. Why would you tell anyone that? that. That's like a no-no thing. I don't know what I was thinking. I should have just lied. Part of why I did it was because she was very kind and I felt comfortable, and also because I wanted to clear my mind before the polygraph. Yeah, that's how they get you. They're all very kind and very understanding, and then you tell them too much and you're I watch too much true crime, to be honest, so I could see it in her face that I screwed up big time, although she played it cool and said I wasn't done yet and she still had to talk it through with her boss. Before I left, I did get a chance to talk to him, the guy who will later review it, and I tried my best to leave a good impression. He seemed like a cool dude, but I have a bad feeling. I might have to wait 6 months to try again just because I couldn't keep my mouth shut. What an idiot. This is just such a random thing to reveal to an officer in your interview, because even if she asked, did you do anything weird or illegal at your workplace before, your mind would go to fraud or stealing or something like this. I would never have even thought to go there with like masturbation at work. I feel like this is one of those things that you can easily skirt around. And the top comment here is just amazing because they quote, "I should have just lied," and proceed to say, not mentioning masturbation during a job interview isn't lying, it's just basic human etiquette. Also, we're talking about the situation here, right? That he confessed to doing it. But if you think a bit more, why did he even do it in the first place? Why would you jerk off at your workplace? I mean, it also depends on where you work, but just why? We have an update though. So after 2 weeks, I finally got an answer from my investigator, and I thought I'd update you guys since my first post got a lot of attention. Before doing so though, I would like to clarify a few things that perhaps weren't so clear in my first post. I did not bring it up in the conversation. She asked me and she wanted details. She like straight up ask you if you masturbated at work? It just doesn't seem to me as one of the questions for the job interview. But okay, who knows? It was a 3-hour interview. I have to say this because some of you guys are under the impression that I just wanted to brag about how many times I jack off a day. Depending if I'm off work, I can go up to 4, which is not the case. But you see, then why did you include how many times you can go up to? Why? It was so unnecessary. I did not want to know that. And it's not that I couldn't help myself from doing it at work. I'm just the type of guy who doesn't back down from trying new things. Sure, you tell yourself that. Now that that's out of the way, yes, I got disqualified. Crazy, I know. Those guys don't know what they're missing. Not crazy at all, and they know what they're missing because you told them. They told me I could come back in a year, but that they had their chance and they wasted it. You're talking like you're some big catch and they just unfairly didn't let you in, but come on. You kind of brought this on yourself by first, well, doing those things and then admitting to those things, and now you're behaving like a prima donna who's too good for them now, which is ridiculous. I'm going to try other agencies. Right, I bet the FBI will let you in just like that. I think jerking off in the office is one of their special skills. Is it possible they might find out what I told this department? Of course, but there's no harm in trying. Now, to the last one, and this is perhaps my favorite because it's crazy. Today I f***ed up by laying an egg during sex. Obligatory, this didn't happen today. I actually posted this 4 years ago, but decided since the community is much larger now, more people might enjoy this story. And they honestly did. Backstory. My boyfriend and I have been experimenting with new sex toys lately. We bought some Tenga eggs because he has an issue with sensation, some kind of mental block due to past traumas. I thought maybe they would help by increasing sensation and distracting his wandering mind. We had tried the egg a few different ways, and I had looked up some porn vids to get ideas of different things. I saw one particular video showing a couple having penis and vagina sex with the Tenga egg on the penis. I thought it might be a bit difficult to get it due to my small size, medical condition, but figured we'd give it a go. After a bit of fumbling and slipping with tons of lube, we finally get it in. It's staying at the base and doing just fine. He says it's a bit too tight, but we keep going in hopes that my muscles will let up a bit as they usually do. He's getting a good rhythm going and we hear a kind of popping slash slurp sound. That doesn't sound good. I think, oh great, we just ripped it. So we stopped to inspect it. I looked at his dick and the Tenga egg wasn't there. I started feeling around in the sheets to see where this thing slipped to. Can't find it. Suddenly we both looked at each other. The same thought crossed both of our minds. Is it? Oh god. I stick a finger inside myself to see if I can feel it. Nothing. It must be way up there. I get up onto my knees. He's intently staring at me at this point, freaking out. I'm totally calm because as a female who has used menstrual cups, I know anything that goes in can come out with enough effort. That was a horrifying sentence. I start to bear down and feel some pressure. Yep, it's definitely in there. I stick my finger in again and bear down. I feel the smooth side, but can't locate the hole. It had flipped onto its side. I continue to bear down and attempt to turn it. I finally caught my finger on the rim and slowly pulled it out. When it came out, it made a loud slurp sound and flopped onto the bed, all while he was looking on in horror. I immediately started laughing my ass off. It took us about 10 minutes to collect ourselves. I tossed the egg into the sink so that we could wash it later. We then finished off where we started Son's Tenga egg. Later, when we were getting into the shower, he grabbed the egg and handed it to me. He said, "Don't leave your child unattended." This is gross, but very funny. We now refer to it as our child. Update. I didn't even think to include an update when I posted this initially. We broke up a few months after this situation. Turns out it had nothing to do with sensation. He just thought about his mom constantly while we had sex, which made it hard for him to finish. Why did he think about his mom? Ew. He didn't have any trouble maintaining an erection though, in case you were wondering. The mom thing is alarming. And this just about wraps up the crazy people parade that we had today. Crazy people, not like in any derogatory way, just people doing wild things and living their best life. I will be wrapping up this video here. I hope you were entertained by one of the stories, maybe all of the stories. If you were, drop the like, don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you with another video real soon. Bye.